Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the fourth episode of Luke Talks to People. Thank you for joining us on the show today. So our guest is Suelynn. She is the co-founder of Kooks Creamery, which is a wonderful ice cream cafe that specializes in molten lava cookies. There is the chocolate, there's the matcha, there's even a unicorn and mermaid lava cookie. Really interesting stuff that you have to see and eat for yourself to believe that it's real and that it's that good. So now we are in this time of like pandemic, dessert places have closed down. Obviously when I met her, that wasn't the case yet. But we have an update from her and we'll let you guys hear it after the whole episode. Suelynn is my friend, but she's one of the last people that I expected to start her own business. We were in school together in Polytechnic and we spent a lot of time studying together or not studying together, she and I and a whole group of friends, and we're still very good friends to this day, and we are very proud of her. Yeah, I'm excited for you guys to hear about her journey from studying design to working in visual merchandising to starting an ice cream shop. Really interesting story. There is something that she said about starting a whole new company culture, and yeah, I hope you find it interesting too. So without further ado, I present to you my friend, the co-founder of Kooks Creamery, the one and only Suelynn. My turn. And action. So we're here with Suelynn, and Suelynn is the co-founder / lady boss of Kooks Creamery. Yeah, so Suelynn, how long have we known each other?
Wow. That's very long, right? Like 10 years?
Yeah,
roughly
10 years. We were in the same class, yeah.
Yeah, you were pretty mischievous, I remember.
I know, like the most quiet person ever. Yeah, so the reason I wanted to do this is because when we were in school 10 years ago, you were the last person, honestly, that I would have expected to start a business. Yeah, so today is really for you to share your story, and I don't want to talk too much about what I thought, this and that. I'll let you tell the story. Talk more. Okay, is it Kooks or Kooks or...
Cooks.
Cooks.
Yeah,
okay,
Cooks.
so like Cooks.
Yes.
Okay, so what did you study in school?
Well, I mainly studied design.
Okay.
I went into LaSalle doing advertising and design graphic.
Yeah.
Then after that, I moved on more to graphic to really understand like the layouts and stuff like that.
LaSalle was a diploma, is it?
Yeah. Then after that, I went to SIM doing
Okay.
the design course.
A degree.
Yeah, a degree.
A degree in design.
Yeah.
Okay, so in Singapore, that is not the most popular choice.
Yeah,
But your parents-
definitely. They were okay because I was never the academic kind of person.
Really?
Really? Yeah. I think ever since primary school, I think me and my parents sort of knew that. So when I took art, I think from there, then I sort of realized that I could do more, in terms of artistic side.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think I had a certain flair, not say, it was, wow, very good and like, and stuff like that. But I guess I could sort of see that there was something there that could be harnessed. Yeah. And maybe my parents saw it too. So, I mean, for them to know that I was pursuing design, I think, they were very supportive of it.
Okay, so after you graduated, after you got your degree, what was the first job that you took?
I did graphic in a in-house aesthetics like studio. They had a range of stuff going on. They did like salons, they did nails, they did facial. So basically, we are just the in-house people that churn out the different contents and the different like let's say pamphlets or whatsoever for the store. So basically, our boss will let us know, like there is like a certain promotion this month, and then we just churn out the design.
Okay. Oh, so it was for
in-house, mainly for that company.
Okay, so that company had like a salon.
Yeah, they had salon, facial, and nail parlor. So we just churn out designs for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then after that, what was your next job?
After that, I was in Estee Lauder.
Okay.
Yeah, so I did visual merchandising. So I knew a few people who was in visual merchandising, in retail.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty awesome lah. Like you can like dress up the whole mannequin and like, play with fabrics and stuff like that. So I guess that's where I wanted to go to. But during that time, when I got the offer in Estee Lauder, I did not manage to get anything in retail. So that was mainly in cosmetics. So cosmetics is a lot more on graphic layouts also. So layouts, kerning, and all that other stuff, and like product placement, you know. So that was what I did in Estee Lauder, basically sitting down and like doing the whole graphic stuff. Then after that, I moved on into H&M, which led me to pursue further in visual merchandising, but in terms of retail, which was what I wanted in the first place.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
How do you go from there to starting Kooks Creamery?
It was quite progressive, I would say. From there, I think they taught a lot about resilience. And like almost anything is possible because there were a lot of tight deadlines and a lot of overnight jobs. And a lot of times we were down on like manpower and stuff like that. So there were a lot of times whereby we had to do a lot of jobs.
Yeah.
You know, like because of the lack of manpower and everything. I guess from there, it taught me that actually anything is almost possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they said like, by next morning or like we have a week to do this, and it's like the whole store. So it's like quite massive. There's a lot of clothes, a lot of different things to think about. Not just like you, whether you can do it or not, you know. There's a lot of variables. So from there, I realized that, you know, yeah, that's one thing I've learned. Like if you put your heart and mind to it, you can do it. And I think from there, I've learned a lot about commerciality, which pushed my boundaries a bit as a designer. Because I think as designers, we are a lot about being artistic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've learned that there is a fine line of being like a visual merchandiser and also like a designer and an artist, right? So an artist is whereby, you know, you do whatever works. Is you like it or you don't like it, it's none of my business, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very personal taste.
Yeah.
So, but whereas like if you are like a visual comm or like a designer, like communications designer, you are supposed to communicate your design through your works.
Yeah.
And if it's not communicated well, then your job is not done well. So that's the difference. So I think that switch was quite hard, whereby, you know, say, oh, this is what you get and you should like it, you know, versus, oh, this is not working well, we're not earning money, and how should I improve as a communicator from design, you know, to make people like buy the stuff. Yeah. So I think in H&M, it taught me a lot about like the commerciality part. So a lot of times we did our work, or rather I did my work, and if it didn't sell in money, like, you know, I have to change it quite a few times to make sure that it sells.
How well you guys do is measured by the sales line.
Yes, correct. So every week the sales will come out, and then it will be measured weekly and then monthly and yearly. So we have a lot of like the KPI to keep up, and a lot of times we would really look into our design and what's not working there, and then we will translate it into the money part. Like, oh, that is maybe why, and then we try to change it. Like, oh, maybe the price point should be placed nearer to the people, you know, like, you know, it's all about placement, I guess, and maybe colors, or like what's wrong with that area. Is it like your system is not right, or is it too tight and stuff like that? So, yeah, it took me quite a while to learn about commerciality and like to understand that even if you feel that your design is great, it might not mean that you will earn money from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yep. It's the never-ending struggle.
Yeah.
So, what year was this when you were at H&M?
4 years ago was when I left. So I was there for 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you were there for 2 years. So during these 2 years, did the idea for Kooks Creamery start to brew, or?
Oh yeah, I mean, it was during those 2 years that I realized that, you know, that I might want to start up something. I think it was way earlier that I thought that I want to start up something. I think, you know, our generation, like we say, oh, we want to have our own thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, some like will go for it, some might not. So, well, I went for it. So I think for me, a lot of it also, I did like the idea of having my own community and like creating a certain culture. Yeah, I think that was pretty important for me. Because I mean, after working in so many different places, you start to see different cultures in different companies, and then like, so you would know pretty strongly like what kind of culture you would want to have if you were to set up your own company. And I think that excites me pretty well, quite a bit to start up something, you know, like a second home.
What were some things that you did on purpose when it came to starting the culture within your own company?
Well, I guess because of the different places that I worked, it really showed diversity of cultures, right? Like, and I realized what really makes or breaks a company or the team. It's actually a lot about the culture also. And it's like, the people you're around every other day, and whether they feel comfortable, whether you feel comfortable. And I think from there, like, I wanted to create a culture that whereby, we are all like happy and comfortable working. I mean, like, life outside is really quite tough, right? I mean, like, people, family issues and stuff like that. So the last thing I would want is to have like my staff coming in feeling very down and like, and like not enjoying. So it's a lot about like giving them experiences. I mean, they're young, right? So it's about positive experiences. I mean, they can learn on a job, but not like overly too much of negativity, and stuff like that. So I mean, for me, I did what I could do. It's very minimal lah. So basically, I mean, although they're all part-timers, I would like make an effort to make sure that I interview all of them, like then, and to feel whether they suit the right culture.
That you personally as the boss interview lah.
Yeah, so I will personally interview each of them and to see whether they suit the culture, whether they fit here, and whether they are a real team player. Because like, sometimes when you have a few wrong people in the group, it's going to be very hard to manage.
It becomes toxic.
Yeah. I mean, toxic is... I mean, they're still very young, so I mean, it won't get very toxic if you know how to pull them back, rein them in. They're all very young and, they absorb, right? So
yeah, this is very serious talk for like an ice cream shop.
Yeah,
it's
know,
like
right?
so deep.
It's more for the people that's working here and more for me and more on how the company can thrive, like with a lot of retaining staff. So we don't... I mean, we still have quite a number of staff that have been staying here for like almost 4 years already. Okay. So I'm like, actually, I'm really very happy and proud to say that because, F&B is always like very fast turnover rate.
Yeah.
So, and then when you realize that, they become very good friends here and they really enjoy it here. Yeah. Some of them is not just for the money, it's because they enjoy the place. Then it makes me happy to know that, like they like it here. And they feel comfortable here, feel comfortable with me and stuff like that. Yeah. So whenever I have new stuff coming up, I do ask them for feedbacks because they are ultimately also part of our target group. So yeah. So
young people. Okay.
Yes.
That's very cool. I had no idea. I thought you just wanted to like sell molten lava chocolate cookies. Honestly, I'm not just saying that.
I think it was only after when I opened a shop. Then that's when I learned a few things about like your staff and everything, and then that's when I thought about the culture a bit more lah. Yeah, but obviously when I was working, I did think about like a lot about culture and like what really makes people retain in the job.
Yeah.
It's also a lot about culture and a lot about like the higher management, how they manage and how you feel protected in the company.
Or not.
Yeah, or not. Yeah. So I mean, and I guess that's why there's so many people that job hop, right? Because we don't feel, like, this is it, right? Like, so I think I've learned that mentorship is probably what's lacking. Yeah, in our current, work life, in our working worlds.
Yeah.
So I mean, for here, I do try to mentor a bit. In the beginning, I did mentor quite a few people, but it was quite hard.
Yeah.
Because everyone is really very different. Yeah. So I still do. I pick a few and I mentor those that I feel I can mentor.
Yeah.
And because they've got certain stuff that you can really potentially grow.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it's really very hard. Sometimes when you mentor them, it doesn't mean that they will stay all the way.
It's hit or miss lah.
Yeah. So correct. And a lot of times after their school has ended, when they start to go out to the working world, they will leave also. So that was a hard part for me also.
So do you, is it part of your goal, can I say, to make them like actually become full-time staff here?
Well, of course. I mean, like,
that's the dream lah.
Like I think that's the dream, to be able to work hand in hand with them and to build something together. Yeah. But I mean, obviously it's very tough. But I have many staff that left and, but I still wish them all the best. Yeah. Because it's always good that they pursue their own things.
Yeah.
Rather than stick to one or just because they don't like know how to say no or something like that. They must enjoy it and they must want it. Yeah.
So as a business owner, like, are you trying to build like, I guess you say like structures for like, okay, you start off as a part-timer doing like, the usual ops, then maybe as you progress, you can become like marketing, that kind of thing. Are there these structures in place?
We did sort of do that a little bit for our previous managers. But it's a bit hard to draw that line because like, a lot of times they were needed on the floor also. So we don't want to overtire them.
Yeah.
So but so far my sister has been doing a lot of the marketing stuff. So I mean, she's my partner in this business also. So while I take care of the operation side and production side of things, and she takes care of the marketing side of things. And I mean, so far I think she did a pretty great job at it. Like, marketing Kooks and then stuff like that. So not much help was actually needed in that area because she's really good at what she does. But obviously, like, if we do have staff that's really interested in that, and because of that we are able to retain her, him or her, then we are definitely open to that option. But so far, we still have not gotten there yet. But I guess it's a step. It's quite a big step that you have to take. For most companies.
Like, you need to stop running the business, like maybe, and then you have time to think about it.
Correct. Yeah.
So why molten lava? Why chocolate molten cookie? Why that as the core product?
I think during that time there was a lot of ice cream shops going around, a lot of like best waffles, in Singapore and stuff like that. So we really did not want to have another waffle place, right? And I think from there, like with my sister and I, we traveled around and we saw this also like similar cookie with the molten inside, and that's where it sparked our idea to maybe bring something to Singapore. I mean, we could easily franchise it, but we did not want to because we also want to create our own brand. I mean, us being designers and her being a marketing person, like we are more like inclined to doing something from scratch. I would say. So I think with that, we realized that we needed a unique selling point. Otherwise it's going to be pretty hard to differentiate yourself from the rest of the ice cream shops because they're all pretty good also.
You knew that it was something along the lines of ice cream.
I think I always realized that if I wanted to do a business, it's definitely not going to be in retail because I was really previously in retail, and being in such a big fast-paced store, I realized that even for them, sales is also not very, very easy. And what more for block shops and stuff like that. So the market there is very competitive. And I think food was always one of the things in Singapore that businesses can actually thrive in. And then I thought further about like what kind of food businesses. So I really narrowed down to businesses whereby I don't need a specific chef. Because if you need a chef, then you'll be tied down to the chef. So if the chef doesn't work, or you need to get a new chef, then your food will be also affected. So I needed something that is more specific. So like for ice cream, if I'm not doing, I pass the recipe to another person. It's easily easily replicated lah. Like to the T on how the taste should be like. It won't go too far off. Because it's all about exact measurements. It's a bit like baking.
It's just about the
it's all about measurements.
200 grams of flour.
It's all about the measurements. I mean, it's even easier than baking, I would say. I would think so.
That's how easy it is to start your own business, everyone. So when you started, what was the moment where you were like, okay, this is it, it's do or die? At which point of starting the business were you at like, okay, there's really no turning back?
I guess it was when I really started out a business, and it was 1 week before the opening. It was like you cannot really turn back. So I think that was the defining moment.
Was that the week where you opened this shop?
It was a week that we opened.
I remember coming.
It's just the beginning is definitely green because you do not know whether you would succeed or not. It's a lot of like very open-ended. it can go either ways.
Yeah.
So and then me and my sister, we were also afraid that if it was a fad or will it last,
Yeah.
things like that. So I think only time could tell, and it did. So yeah.
were you ready for like, okay, this is not working out, we have to throw in the towel? Was that ever an option? Because you talk about, is it a fad? Will it last? So in the back of your mind, were you
So I
ever
mean,
ready to?
if let's say it was a fad or something, I don't think we would throw in the towel. But I think a lot of it was internal struggles. Like
Is my product good enough? Do people like it?
not really that, but more of like whether you can see yourself long term doing it, and because it was very tiring in the beginning. So yeah, it took out quite a bit. Yeah.
Okay. So describe how tiring it was.
I think in the first few months, I think I worked almost every other day, and then like I remember the first month, even our landlord complaining that we were churning our ice cream at 2 a.m. in the morning, and it was very noisy. So there were a lot of like overnights here and there, and because we had very very little staff then, so it's everything like baking, floor, production is all on me. So, but that's when we realized that we needed to grow a bit faster. Then we started having like more staff on the floor, to ease my workload. And then after that, after probably like around 2 years plus, then we had a baker, so who could like relieve some of the production duties. So otherwise, if not, then I had to do quite a number of things. So it's like a lot of hands-on. And then you also need to be, you need to be on the floor to get to know the customers and stuff like that, to make them feel welcome. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that was quite tough. And I think, like when you don't have enough time for your own life, that gets quite tough. Yeah, no weekends, that kind of stuff. And I think I had a hard time letting go. In the beginning, even like eating, I will stay here just to eat. Like I don't really go out at all.
Oh, letting go of the business.
Yeah. So when I think after like a couple of months when I started like going out for dinner, I couldn't. I was quite scared. Yeah, to delegate also. And that was another learning curve to learn how to let go and to delegate to the staff that is in store that will do a good job for you, rather than like hovering over them. So how that kind of stuff. So. That's not a very nice feeling for them. Like they feel that they're always being watched.
Micromanaged.
Yeah, definitely. So it's very easy to say like to delegate. And to delegate obviously because, like you don't need to do so much stuff, right? But it's quite hard to let go.
I think many bosses probably struggle with really letting go, and it's just because they
feel like that they do best.
Or that they know that their way is the way to go.
Correct.
And then they are not willing to take a risk.
Yeah, and it took me a while also, I must say. And it was for the better once I learned the art of delegating. I mean, the reason why I didn't really know how to delegate is because I thought that this way is the best, like what you say. And also, like, I don't like double jobs. Like, I let you do, then after that, I still have to redo for you. So it's very pointless, right? But that's where you start to mentor people. Start to teach them. So I basically teach them how I do it. And then after that, once they know the baseline on how to do it, the foundation of things, they want to change it up however they can, I'm fine. So I guess that's where I grow a bit more. So eventually I learned a lot from my staff also. Like they'll say, why don't we do this and this and this? So I was like, why not? So as long as they learn the foundation of things my way, and then they evolve from there, I'm more than happy. Okay.
At which point are you like, okay, I think we're getting to a rhythm? When did that happen? How long into the business?
I think when we broke even.
Okay. So how long did that take?
I think nearly 1.5 years or so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think for all businesses, that's their defining moment. Once they break even and every other month they are earning a profit rather than a loss. I think that's where you feel that, it's doing okay. Can do something about it. And our next defining moment was when we set up the second shop in Cathay, and then we realized that both business was doing well on its own. Then, and like if it's a fad, right? I think after 2 years it will die down. So I mean it's been around for like nearly 4 years. So I think I would safely dare to say that it's not a fad. Hope so. So yeah, I mean, at least that part was settled, and we can have like a sigh of relief and say, oh, people just like it. Yeah, and it's not so much of a fad thing. Like the whole croissant, lucia, that kind of stuff. Within 1 year, it's gone. I think if you're going to sell it somewhere else, people will be like, nah.
I want to ask, for those months, right, like in the first few months, if you don't mind sharing, what was your rough take home for yourself personally?
Oh, first few months.
Or maybe the first month. Let's just say the first month.
I remember like probably the first year was definitely like 1K-ish.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, I guess every boss who started their own business would be roughly around that amount, because you don't want to give yourself too much, right? Because you don't even know how much the shop is going to earn.
Yeah.
So it was definitely discussed throughout the shareholders. But obviously, once we got our, once we broke even, then we got our dividends and stuff like that, and it got better. I mean, that's why it was grueling. You'll be thinking like the amount of money you get versus the amount of time you put in, and the amount of effort and the things that you have to miss out, right?
Yeah.
Is it worth it? Yeah. And because you don't even know whether it's a sure win. So that was a struggle. It's not really not what I was expecting. Actually, it's almost what every first time entrepreneurs would sort of expect. Some people don't even pay themselves. As in, I know of some bosses that doesn't pay themselves. So I mean, for the fact that I got something out of it, it's like an internship, right?
Yeah.
So you learn, that kind of stuff.
Yes,
So it was more of like whether this would work, and rather like whether the amount of time that you put in would really succeed.
Yeah.
So there's many internal struggles. Not so much about the money and stuff like that. It's just a lot of like, you need to give a lot.
And it's your future that you're talking about.
Because it's like a lot of commitment.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then over here you don't have like a higher up boss to say, oh, how? So how?
You are the boss.
So you need to answer for yourself.
I can imagine.
So I think that was quite tough. Yeah.
So what kept you going?
Oh, I guess I got a lot of support from my family and from my sister. It was very heartwarming. Like they really support me all the way. Like my dad, he will fetch me back every other day. Like because I'll end very late at night, and then he'll fetch me back. Like my sister, she did help out like during the weekends when she could, because she was actually having another job then.
Yeah.
So
still
having another job. So I guess that's where I have to applaud her. Like for doing that. I mean, it's not easy to at the back of your mind having a business trying to run it, because she's quite ambitious also. So, and on the front side, you have your own daily job to cover. So yeah, she did give her way of support by also helping out with the shop, during the weekends when she can, that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think support is very important, and I guess your family members or your close one has to be very aligned with you. Yeah, into like whatever you're doing, so that you don't feel like you're alone.
Yeah. So they were supportive lah. They like bought into this idea.
They were very supportive.
They believed in you.
Yeah, I think ever since when I was still working, I spent actually a year R&Ding all the cookies and stuff like that. It was crazy. Basically, every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, she had to take out my eggs and my butter to defrost them. She'd be like, oh, so how many eggs and butter must I take out today? And she was thinking, when will it end?
That's so nice.
Yeah, so she was like saying that, after all the many times and all the many months and 1 year of taking out eggs and butter, she was very happy that like it like came true. Like, it was for something. Yeah. Yeah, because she did not know it then. She just thought that, just for fun, see how it goes. Yeah. And yeah, I think when my family tried like the cookies and everything, they were like more confident of it, and I guess that's how they all got on board, and also in turn being supportive lah. They were already, but I think that made them even more sure. Like hey, can that kind of stuff. And that's why when I started the business, I think that's when they thought that it might be a good idea. Yeah, because most parents are pretty traditional. They would rather you have your own job. Yeah. I mean, obviously working for other people is much easier. Yeah. Which is the truth, right? But I think that gave them more confidence, a boost of confidence that actually it would work out well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So apart from your concerns that it might be a fad, what were some other fears and trepidations that you had like when the business opened?
I think it was more of a good problem, I would say, because we experienced quite high influx of customers. With that, then I realized that I couldn't churn out enough for the customers, and there was one time we had full house and we had no cookies left. So we retained all our customers, and we decided to tell them that the waiting time was another like half an hour to 40 minutes, and they all waited, and I was at the back churning out cookies. It was quite stressful. That was really very stressful. Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. So like what it is a good problem, but I think from there we learned how to overcome that and to prepare ourselves, a little bit
I can't
better.
imagine the stress. Like, people are here for the cookie.
Yeah.
And you're out of cookies.
Yeah, and because I was the only one who did the cookies, so
Yeah.
it was really quite stressful. Like, it's really like day by day you have to churn. Because I think I had one pair of hands, and our cookie churner was really very small. And I think that was the time that we changed to a bigger one.
Yeah.
Because when I started the business, I didn't think that, I just thought it would just be like, like chill vibes, I didn't expect it to be a bit more popular.
Yeah.
I think that was unexpected. But I guess maybe that's a bit like of how I manage myself also. I don't really aim very, very high. I would just say like, I think okay lah.
A few customers.
Yeah. Like, you cut yourself some slack, that kind of stuff. So that, when really very few customers come in, you won't feel like, oh no, why like that?
Why am I such a failure?
Yeah, I think is a mechanism. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think with that we learned a lot lah.
Okay, so I have to like set this up and say that in school, I could tell that you had a flair for like design. Like, you enjoyed doing like all this artsy stuff. But I never felt like you were very like excited by like school and like very into the work. But you enjoyed doing like the creative stuff lah.
Correct.
That's why I say like you're one of the last people I would expect to start your own business. But don't get me wrong, I'm really happy for you. I'm really happy for you.
Because I think it's true also. I wasn't very, very driven also. I just wanted to like set up my own business, right? Full stop. And like just like have something on my own.
Yeah.
But I think what really pushed me further was my sister. She drives me a lot. So she kept pushing me at different areas, and I think that's where I grew even more commercially. Yeah, and if it was just me alone, I think I would have just fizzled out probably. Okay. Yeah, so yeah, I think that was also one big driving factor, and I think I just took it as it is. Yeah, like one step at a time, and I try not to lump everything together. Basically,
I'm just wondering, right? Because you come from a family of 3 girls and you are the eldest. So on this whole topic of leadership, is there any pressure on you to perform? Like, in the back of your mind, was there ever like, oh, my business fails, I'm going to be like the lousy daughter?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think in my family, although I'm the eldest, but I don't really feel like there's a certain hierarchy. Okay. So like I do ask my sisters for help, like what to do. I won't be like, hey, why are you so rude? I'm your older sister. That kind of stuff. So, and I think I enjoyed that, like that kind of non-hierarchy kind of thing, like older sister versus younger sister kind of thing. So I didn't really have that kind of pressure. And like I said, we were quite blessed for our shop. So I didn't really need to feel a lot of like negativity on like, the sales and stuff like that to really make me think like, like this is not working, right? Yeah. So every month has been always quite positive for us, and I think it also made me it also grew my confidence also lah. Made me grew my confidence in the product and in the brand. Yeah, besides my family and my sister. So yeah.
What did being your own business owner teach you about money? What were some things that you learned about money that you maybe did not really know before?
Actually, I learned a lot on the job, my previous job, and I managed to apply it here.
Okay.
So a lot of times I already knew like, your manpower is equivalent to sales, and also like if you have lesser sales, lesser manpower, your products also, like how you are able to make sure that you get the right pricing for your products. Fine. It's mainly a lot of researching on like the cost of goods and stuff like that. And if let's say you have a lull period in this month, maybe we can amp it up by doing new products, creating some like excitement in other products. I already know in my previous job like how to manage the timetables and how to fully utilize the staff as best as I can, and that they won't be overly tired, and making sure their shifts are at appropriate timing so that we don't overspend.
Yeah.
It's all about spending, versus like, earning. So there are sometimes that when we earn a little bit lesser for that week, then I will make sure that I have lesser stuff on the floor.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, things like that. But I think my sister was the one that sort of mentioned on how like, if it's a lull period, we can increase sales via other avenues. And that's how we got into like events, and that's how we got into also like doing other side stuff like mini cookies. Yeah. So it really brought out a lot more in the company, and I think I learned a lot from that along the way.
Okay, so we hope you're enjoying the episode thus far. So I don't know what it's like for you now, what date and time it is exactly that you are listening to this episode, but hopefully you are able to order dessert now. If you are not, please, when the circuit breaker lifts, for those of you staying in Singapore, when it lifts, please support Kooks Creamery. Really good stuff. Back to the episode.
In F&B, because it's very competitive, right? You always have to not constantly, but every once in a while you have to create new content. Yeah, you need to be a bit refreshing and not like always have the same things.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's why we do have like seasonal items like for Christmas, we have like new ice cream flavors. Then we also launched like new cookie sorry, my sister is gonna say me, lava cookie sets. Yeah. So we have different flavor of lava cookies, and also like we also did launch the whole mini cookies, which is like the mini bites, a bit like the lava cookie, but it's in smaller forms, and it has the ganache inside so that they can take home.
Yeah.
Right, something you can take home, because all our lava cookies has to be eaten here.
Yeah.
So those were the things that we tried to innovate, and obviously we will try to innovate more in the upcoming years and like the recent months, hopefully.
Your voice is getting softer because there are ideas that you cannot share, right? Which is fine. No, so I want to share a story. So that time me, Priscilla, Ellie, and you went to eat dim sum, right? And then you were so late. I remember you were late, and then we were like, why is she late? Oh, okay. Then you came and you gave us the cookies.
Aww.
And I felt so bad. I felt so horrible. I was like, oh, my friend was making cookies for me.
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
I wanted you all to try it.
Long term, what's in the pipeline for Kooks?
Well, we are looking into probably e-commerce a bit more, and yeah, maybe ice cream cakes. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, this is like all in the pipeline. Yeah.
Okay.
But not sure when it will like start. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you need me to cut that out, you just let me know.
Okay.
But yeah, I've seen your photos, you're like testing and all that, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, it must be so hard. Like there's all this stuff like behind the scenes that maybe never gets out, right? It's just your own.
I guess I guess like being a boss and like being an entrepreneur, one thing that you can really realize is that if you do something, as long as you want it out and you feel it's commercial enough, I think you can have it out. It's just whether how much you push for it, and how much you're willing to commit to it. Because if you like, let's say you do the whole line of cakes, you know that it's going to be a commitment. You need to do it with the right standards and the right mindset, and have the right people for it also. Yeah. So yeah, I don't think like actually most of the stuff that we R&D came out.
Okay.
Yeah, I can safely say that.
Means that the stuff that you've shown me is gonna come out soon, lah.
Hopefully, yeah. So I mean, like a lot of stuff that we really brainstorm quite a bit before we settle on a specific product, and then we will work on it. Yeah. So like me and my sister will think about products and stuff like that, and then I will think about the feasibility of it, like how it will work or why it won't be able to work, and then I guess that really narrows us and pushes us to a specific endpoint, and that's why most of the stuff that we actually do R&D comes out.
Okay.
Yeah, and we are happy about that lah. I mean, there's not a lot of things that like what we do and then it never came out, you know. So yeah, I think yeah.
What is the biggest sacrifice you've had to make as a business owner? What's the biggest cost you feel?
I think I won't really call it a sacrifice, but I think it has dawned to me that I probably won't be able to work with my peers. Like, you know, people you can learn from. Not that I don't learn from my staff, I learn quite a lot from my staff, but you don't get to get someone more experienced than you and you learn from them. Which you'll be able to do more in a job, like a daily job whereby you've got like this like director or like this like mentor, and then you learn from him or her.
Yeah.
So I probably have to learn from myself and have to make like pretty like me and my sister have to make like good judgments call.
Yeah.
Like on what we should do and what we should not, and because there's no one else to ask. So I guess that would be one of it. Yeah. But other than that, I don't think really much of a sacrifice, because I mean in the beginning, yes, it was time, but now I've got quite a bit of time in my hands. I can make sure that my time is flexible. I can do what I want when I want.
Can come on this podcast.
Yes. For my friend Liu. Yeah.
Thank you, Sue.
So yeah, so I think it's just that only. But I think maybe when we expand more, then like what you say, like maybe hiring like people like in marketing or doing sales and stuff like that. And maybe with that, like it would have that kind of team dynamics. Yeah. But for now, it's I guess just me and my sister.
Yeah. What's one thing that you learned about yourself? Just starting the business, being your own boss. What's something that you've learned about yourself, or some things?
Well, at first I thought like, you know, I was a pretty safe person. Like what you say, you know, not say very driven. You've got a flair, but not very driven. I also felt I'm that kind of person, and I was always very contented with just like, oh, just have one shop. Then like when I want, I come in. Don't want, then don't come in. You know, that was my idea. Then when things settled down for the first shop, then my family and my sister were the ones that pushed for the second shop. I wasn't very sure because I know it was a commitment. Yeah, right. It's like it will add on to it, right? So I wasn't very sure until when I realized that I was a bit bored. And then I wanted like a challenge again. So with that challenge, and we had the second shop, it was very exciting because you had to do the whole renovation, you know, do the whole like planning, logistics, and like all the machineries, inventory and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed that process. Although it was very grueling, but I enjoyed a lot. And once it settled, when I got bored again, I was also thinking like, oh, so what's next? So I think the thing that I learned about myself was that like, I guess I'm a bit more driven than I expected. Or maybe because of the shop, it made me a bit more driven. I'm not very sure which came first, but it's
the chicken or the egg.
Yeah, it's pretty new to me. Yeah, I think maybe it's under the influence of other people, my family and stuff like that. But yeah, it made me not want to settle. Yeah, like, oh, one shop enough already, or like 2 shops enough already. But it also kept me thinking what's next, because maybe I wanted to do something exciting. Yeah. I like the idea of doing something exciting also. Yeah.
So, as someone who's been in the business for about 4 years, right? What advice do you have for people who are considering starting their own F&B? You know, what's some advice that you would have for them?
I think first of all, I mean it varies from different people. I think maybe some people will say actually no need or what. But for me, I think it's very important that you actually work outside first. You work under someone, you get all the shit, you know, you get the good stuff, but you get a lot of shit, you know, that kind of stuff. And then, you know, like you will realize what you like, what you don't like, and how you can learn to be a better person. Because if you don't get like negative stuff from other people, you won't be able to know like how good you want it to be, right? Or what kind of boss you want to be. Yeah, I think it
until you've seen like a really bad boss
or a really good boss.
Yeah.
So you can take bits and pieces of it, and you will be able to mold like, oh, what kind of person or boss you would like to be in your business, and how would you want to lead. I think work experience is pretty important. Otherwise, you might just fizzle out because you might not be able to endure, or like maybe like you're not very sure. So, and I think before going to a business, you just have to be very focused on like making sure that you know your product well, and also that you have your family and all your close ones on board with you. Because if there's a lot of misalignment, I think it's quite hard if you don't get support. And then I can't remember if you remember, I had some DIY blog shop, that kind of stuff. Maybe not, because it was very small. So I basically did it by myself, right? And then like there was no money. I don't like earn money from it. I don't sell anything. I just thought like, oh, I can just do it.
It's just your creative expression.
Yeah, but it's very hard to keep it going because there's no one beside you to push you when you are not feeling like it. So firstly, I think you need a partner. You need a partner that is a little bit different from you, that pushes you and drives you. And I guess like yin and yang like that. But so you need someone who is a partner. And I think ultimately it's also a lot about money. The money also has to drive you a little bit. So like my previous DIY, there was no money. So I was not driven at all. I mean, I was driven to a certain point, but after that it fizzled out. So the money must make sense. Like what you're earning for the shop must make sense in what you do.
You're actually schooling me. I'm actually learning. Okay, so we're almost wrapping up here. So you here today, 4 years into Kooks Creamery, now you have 2 outlets, right? Is this what you pictured your life would be like in your 30s?
I guess so. I didn't really think so much about it, but here and there, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, like for the business, I think I didn't really had a 4-year plan. We had like maybe a 1 or 2 year plan that we'll do well and we'll be able to earn money from the shop. And then when we had the second shop, it's like what I said, it just comes in very fast. So you just take it in and then you start doing already. You don't really process very fast. So you're only processing while you're doing it, but it's so gradual that it becomes very natural. You do you know what I mean? Like it becomes part of you.
You just get into the rhythm very quickly.
And then very, very quickly. So like I remember the first shop here, it took me like around 6 months to get the hang of things and to understand the rhythm. But for the second shop, I think 1 or 2 months I'm done already. So I understood, and then it got into me pretty quickly. So, but I think I don't think I would have expected myself to like for us to actually have 2 shops. And for it not to be a fad. I think that was something that we were quite scared about. But I'm glad that like our customers still love it, and like the people in Serangoon has like the customers in Serangoon, a lot of them are really long time goers here. So we're happy that we still can like excite them with lava cookies and ice cream.
Is it the mermaid one? It's pretty cute.
I think
there's a unicorn. The unicorn one's pretty cool.
So it's like those few things that we try to innovate a little bit. The unicorn and the mermaid one, so that like people will get excited over something. I mean, that can be like those fat things. We will throw in a little bit here and there for the gram, right? Because that's our target market. So, but we won't do it for our main concept. Our main concept, which is this.
So, how long do you see yourself doing this for?
I think that was a question that I was also asking myself. Like me and my sister discussed, I think once we have the first shop, second shop, or whatever you do, it becomes a commitment. It's like you're having another family. You cannot say, oh, don't want, then don't want.
You can't just drop everything and leave.
So it's quite a lot of commitment. But I think it will be pretty long time. As long as we can stand, we'll be there. And like as long as customers are here.
Stand until very close veins, everything.
So I'm sure like besides like family and everything, the customers are also the one that keeps us going also. Like, like we know that our product is doing something. If there's no customer, obviously there's no motivation point. Like pointless, right? So but I think I'm not really sure how many years, but I guess we'll be in it for a long haul.
When we reach 10, we'll celebrate, okay?
Yes.
We'll celebrate.
I mean, like, it's really like going to 4 already.
Yeah.
So you will never know. I mean, like, we just aim to do better and we just want to be humble in our own business and like just to learn from whoever we can learn from and grow as entrepreneurs. Yeah.
Okay, so I think this is my last question officially. What's next for you personally?
For myself,
Yeah, for yourself.
I think I'll be interested to learn something new, like that I can bring into the shop also. Like what I said, like earlier, I realized I was a little bit more driven than I expected. So with sometimes it being mundane, I realized I would like to learn a little bit more.
Like leadership or like soft skills or like you're thinking like practical?
I think can be anything,
Okay.
but I'm not very sure what is it yet. So yeah, I guess it's about learning and growing
In a
this
way that
stage.
adds value to the business.
Yeah.
lah. So it's still tied to the business. lah.
I try to make it still tied to the business.
Okay.
Because I think whatever that I'm interested in is probably pretty artistic or, making something. So I think I can always tie it back to it. Yeah.
Okay. This is your life now, really.
I guess so. I mean, if there's any updates, I'll let you know.
Okay. All right.
So now we are under this circuit breaker period, so things are a little different from when we were recording. So I caught up with Sue just to see how she's doing and what things are like, and here's what she had to say. Okay, Sue, so now that we are under circuit breaker, how's your business affected? How's everything for you? What are you doing? Just share.
Well, it's definitely affected a lot of businesses, but I think we're all just trying to stay strong. Yeah, I think it was a very fast and quick decision, and I think that was pretty tough. But I think after the circuit breaker has ended, businesses, especially in F&B, will probably look into like personalizing gifts, no longer just dining in, because you will never know when dining in would come back again. So yeah, I think the business will definitely pivot a bit, but we'll see how it goes. We will have to see what other measures is being instilled, or we have to wait longer or stuff like that.
But all the best for you during this circuit breaker. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you, Luke. See you soon when we see you again.
So, Kooks Creamery is open at the Cathay and 2101 Serangoon Avenue 4, 12 to 10 p.m. Closed on Fridays at Cathay. Closed on Mondays at Serangoon. You can check out the very Insta-worthy molten lava cookie videos on Instagram at Kooks Creamery. That's Kooks Creamery. So, Suelynn, thank you. I wish you all the best. Thank you for doing this, for making a time out of your crazy schedule.
Okay.
And keep us posted. And all the best with your ice cream.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you.
And that's it. That is all for this episode of Luke Talks to People. Thank you for joining us, and a big thank you to Kuah Suelynn. Thank you to the staff who was still in the shop and had to keep quiet while we were recording. So yeah, in case you didn't know, and in case you have not heard them or watched them already, we have interviews with Simone Heng, Adam Shah, and Weilin Lau, and now we have this episode with Kuah Suelynn. So it was a really great time meeting all these people, and even though I say we have all these episodes, we have done this, we have done that, it's really just me, and it's really a passion project. And it's really just because these are people that I've had the privilege of meeting, that I have the privilege of knowing personally. These are stories that have inspired me, and I hope in some way they inspire you too. I hope in this time you might be feeling down, I don't know, or you're having a hard time adjusting to working from home like me. I hope this lifts you up, puts you in a better mood, and leaves you wanting more ice cream. I know it's been a while since the last episode. Things have been busy. I have a couple of episodes in the works, and this next episode that I have for you, I'm really excited to release it, to let you guys see it. It is quite a few months in the making. I'm working on it. I promise you I'm working on it, and it is on the way. Follow us on YouTube. Listen to us on Apple, Google, and Spotify podcasts. Follow us on Facebook. You can search for Honest Conversations or Luke Talks to People. Our icon is just black and it says Honest Conversations, Luke Talks to People. Thank you. Thank you for watching this episode. I hope you join us for the next one. Bye-bye.